The aim of this study was to analyze the girls' meaning-making process of FGC, analyzing the learning process and the characteristics of the acquired knowledge. 18 women were retrospectively interviewed. We analyzed 2 different strategies that we used to prepare the girls for the upcoming circumcision. The first strategy was the partly open information strategy from Somalia. Jasmine was 6 years old when she was about to be circumcised. She was very happy when her mother told her that next Friday you are going to be circumcised. She ran immediately to her friends, telling them that she was happy it finally was going to happen to her. And she felt inside that she was lucky that it happened now, so she could be a better girl than those who weren't cut. She describes her excitement as follows.
I was ready. I begged my mother to let me be circumcised soon. I was afraid of it, but I was more afraid of being bullied at school. I had seen 15-year-old uncut girls being bullied, and all the children were divided into 2 groups. The cut and the uncut. I wanted to belong to the group that had been circumcised.
The second strategy was the closed information strategy from the Gambia. Nimba was 4 years old when she was told there was something fantastic was going to happen. She was watching her grandmother, aunt, and her mother preparing for this, and they told her that there was going to be a big celebration. They didn't tell what and where. That was a secret. So she was very excited.
I was told I was going to a ceremony. I asked more about it, but they said it was a secret. I only knew everybody would be there wearing their best clothes and there would be lots of presents. I was so excited.
The next morning she was woken up, washed and dressed. She ate a little breakfast before she was blindfolded and led to the site without knowing that she was going to the circumcision. The learning process is carefully monitored and regulated by the mother, and it's a reassuring process, a continuous reassuring process of the importance of the cutting. Now I'll give you an example of a typical learning situation. The learning situation is typical because not much is said, but yet the situation is saturated with information and learning.
At the age of 12 years, one informant and her friend were playing. They were climbing a high tree. She fell down and hurt her shoulder. She cried, and both of them became scared and ran home. They were met by an aunt who rushed towards them, stopped, and immediately started inspecting her niece's vagina to see if the infabulation was still intact. And then she said it was all right. I was puzzled by this because I didn't know it was that important. The girls were then told to be more careful, and nothing more was said by the aunt. The 2 girls concluded that we have to be more careful with that place down there.
The 2 girls, newly circumcised, reached a turning point in their understanding of the importance of being circumcised. They were provided with new information in this example. And this narrative they had to build largely by themselves. They were provided with a rich set of metaphors like being clean, being like your mother, being honorable. These metaphors are building blocks in the construction of narratives that were directing them in the right directions. The metaphors are in themselves unclear. The girls are largely left to themselves in the meaning-making process. Findings indicate that these two strategies affected the girls' meaning-making process differently, but still, the learning outcome seems to be the same, which is producing honorable and proud women. The learning process is carefully regulated and monitored, but is brought to a halt before reaching critical and reflexive thinking. The knowledge tends to be deeply internalized, embodied, and morally embraced. There is a variety of information campaigns and behavioral change programs aiming to end FGC. A vital part of these programs are the educational component. We believe that this study might inform these programs with more detailed information about the girls' meaning-making process.